the time to do some training and some coaching with all of you too on like the theme of what the event is actually about. So I want to start with that and really pour into all of you with this material, with this information, and then we'll share more about the event coming up, how you can get involved if you want to come join us. It's going to be incredible, transformational. If you can turn your camera on, we love seeing your beautiful faces and just being able to engage with you that way. I know that's not always possible, but it makes me really happy to see you. So there we go. Thank you. I love it. I love it. Well, welcome. And we want this to be super interactive as well. So if you have questions on what we're talking about or an aha or obviously questions on the event, we're going to open it up for at the end. But I would just love to invite you to share in the chat like your epiphanies, your ahas. Again, if you have a question, Kayla, who's on my team, she'll be tracking to make sure that everyone's questions get answered. Hello, hello. I just love seeing all your beautiful faces coming on. Hi. Oh my gosh, Christine, Christy, Kelsey, Kristen, Connie, Dorothy. So good to see all of you here live. Thank you for taking the time out to be here. So before we chat about the event and the theme of the event too, which is all about how to integrate masculine and feminine energy to quantum leap, I want to share just a little bit first about my own personal story. I'm not sure, again, it's like a lot of you I know lives, I know it in real life. Some of you I don't yet, but I want to share a little bit about kind of my own transformation in this area and why it matters so much and how you can use it to quantum leap as well. So my own background, if you're not familiar with me, but I'm Elyse. I'm the CEO of our company. I'm also a wife. I'm a mama of two little boys who are really fun and really crazy and all the things. And before I launched my company, I was always a high achiever in corporate and also as an entrepreneur. Who here relates to being a high achiever? I feel like every person in our community is like driven, high achiever, ambitious, goal oriented. And from that place, I always did well. Like I did well, but I wanted more for my life. And I don't know if you can relate to that too, but for many, many years of my life, it was like life was good, business was good, but it wasn't oh my gosh, amazing that I thought my life would be when I was growing up. Can you relate to that? Where it's kind of like you've checked the boxes, you've done the things, and life is good, but not incredible, right? And so, again, like I said, I was a high achiever in corporate sales. Then I became an entrepreneur, started my own coaching company. And one of the things that was so interesting about that experience is no matter how hard I worked, and I worked hard, I was always stuck at the same financial level. I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, where it's like you grind, you're putting in the work, you're like hustling, you're doing the thing. And no matter how hard you work, you feel like there's a ceiling or like something that you can't break through that feels like it's holding you back. Who here can relate to that as well? Because that was 100% my life for over a decade. And it's frustrating, right? And again, it's like you're doing good. So you almost feel weird saying that you're not thrilled with everything in life, right? Because for a lot of people's standards, you'd probably be doing really well, right? But I know in my own life, I desired something so much bigger. And financially, no matter how hard I worked, I would always make low six figures. I had built like a decent brand, but I wanted to be on the big stages and leading an amazing company and an amazing team. And I wanted to make big money too. I wanted to be able to do things like retire my husband from his night shift respiratory therapy job, which was crazy. I know we've got nurses in this community and there's like medical and some are former, some are current, but shout out to all of you because the hours you work are insane. And we were living that life, even with a 4-month-old. And on top of that, emotionally, I was constantly dealing with low grade anxiety, a lot of self doubt as well. And it was kind of like presenting that image on the outside, like I had it all together, but on the inside, struggling a lot with anxiety, self doubt, limiting beliefs, and then just doing all the time, always busy, always doing, always grinding. But again, always stuck at the same level. And my life changed dramatically when my oldest son was 4 months old. And I was reading Bronnie Ware's Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. I don't know if anyone in here has read it. If you're a client, you know I've recommended it. But if you're not familiar with Bronnie, she was a hospice care worker, and she sat on deathbeds with people right before they passed. And she said that she heard from people right before they died these 5 most common regrets. And the number one regret that she shared was people said, I wish I had had the courage to live a life true to me rather than what everyone else expected of me. And that hit home. I mean, man, that hit home. So when I was reading that, I realized how much of my life I was playing small, how much I was holding back. And I decided that it was time to break through and go on a crazy journey to get out of this life that was good and checked all the boxes, but that didn't inspire me. And so we don't have time for the full story today because I want to teach you this content and also talk about the event. But I went on this radical journey of transformation, invested what felt like a crazy amount of money to me at the time in coaching and personal development. And I went down a rabbit hole of understanding all the reasons why I was working so hard, but never getting greater results. And so I started really training and studying under incredible thought leaders who taught things like the power of the subconscious mind and our belief systems, who helped me dig into limiting money beliefs that I didn't know I had that were holding me back and limiting me, and who taught me how to tap into feminine energy, which was kind of familiar. I'd been in this space for a while, so it was familiar, but I still thought it was a little weird. And I still had some limiting beliefs about, can this actually help me make more money? And long story short, when I did this, in 6 weeks, I went from having been stuck at the same financial level for over a decade to 10xing my income and turning my annual income into my monthly income, and have been able to dramatically transform our life as a family and build an incredible company and team. But the key piece with that too, and what I really want to show you today, is I actually worked less in that process. I didn't work harder. I worked less. It was easier. It was stretchier, but I wasn't working so hard as I had before. So this transformation was so crazy and so mind-blowing. I reverse engineered the process of what happened. And it's the cornerstone for our programs and what we teach our clients now. And by the way, I want to shout out all of our clients. If you're in our community, raise your hand, because we love you and you're incredible and you're phenomenal and we just adore you. So huge shout out to everyone here who's a client. So what I want to start with today is I want to lay the foundation, and then we're going to dive into what this event is going to be about, which did not mean to mute myself, which is all about integrating your masculine and feminine energy. So let me share my screen. Can we all see this okay? I think we can. So high level of what we teach and how this fits in and what the September is going to be all about. When I reverse engineered, how in the world did I go from feeling stuck for so long, working so hard, but never able to break through to the next level, to suddenly 10xing with ease so fast it felt like my head spun? This is what it was. And it's something we call the 4 quadrants of quantum sales growth. They all start with an M. We try to make it easy for you to remember. So the 4 M's. And one of them in particular is what the September event is about. But the first quadrant is mind over matter. So mind over matter is all about belief systems, rewiring your subconscious. The second quadrant is all about money beliefs, energy of money, how to align with the financial frequency you desire. Quadrant 3, which is what we're talking about today, it's 11:11, I love that, is all about integrating your masculine and feminine energy. And also put in the chat, do you have any weirdness around feminine energy? Because I know I did. I was raised in such a analytical left brain type of household that when I first started learning this, I was like, what is this? This is weird. I don't see how this is going to make me money. And if you feel free to share in the chat if you've had a transformation in that area too, because I know a lot of our clients have. But I just want to say, if you're looking at this and you're like, That sounds weird, Elyse. I thought you were about teaching people how to make money. What does that have to do with it? It has a lot to do with it. And I'm going to show you today what it does. Let me check the chat. Kelsey, my old belief was that feminine would be too soft to win in business. I believed exactly the same thing. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And for me, masculine energy was what felt safe. It was the only thing that felt safe in business. And it's amazing when we learn how to tap into both of these. And by the way, if you're on here and you don't know what I'm talking about when I say masculine and feminine, I'm going to explain in a minute. And then the fourth quadrant is method. So this is about the strategy that you're taking, the actions you're taking. And so again, we're talking here about quadrant 3 today, and this is what the event is going to be all about. Now, when you look at what actually drives results, and so this is where I want you to really listen in. If you have been in a space in your life or your business where you are doing the right things, you are checking the boxes, you are taking action, but for some reason, you're not moving forward. I want you to really listen. It's because you're missing one or all of these big 3 on the bottom. So according to neuroscience, if you look at what actually contributes to your results, it's 95 to 98% your belief systems, your self-concept, your identity, how much money you think is big or small. Do you see yourself as the leader of a powerful company? Do you see yourself as top of the leaderboard in your sales career? Maybe you're in corporate sales, or do you not, right? Because our results will never supersede our identity. And then the action that you're taking is only responsible for 2 to 5% of your results. Now, who here is hearing that and you're like, holy crap, I've focused all of my attention on the action I'm taking, but I haven't stopped to think about, or maybe not a lot, who am I being, right? And that's actually the feminine. So this is how we structure our programs and why we lead with we call those the big 3. And this is just a high level overview of how we structure things in our programs and our methodology. We call it superhuman selling. But I want to pause before I go any deeper into that and just say, check in with yourself. So do you feel like you're working really hard, but not moving forward? That is a sure sign there's some work we can do in the masculine and feminine energy area. Have your results felt stuck or stagnant for a while? Do things feel heavy? Do parts of your day feel heavy? Or do you feel like you're doing a lot of doing and you're in action mode, but you wish you could find a way for it to be easier? Okay. So this is what learning how to integrate masculine and feminine energy in your business is all about. And again, I want to invite you, be open-minded if this is the first time you're learning about this or hearing about this. I thought this was bizarre. And then I started working with female mentors who were making multi-millions, working 2 to 3 hours a day, while I was a woman working 8 to 10 hours a day, making 6 figures and always grinding. And every single one of them told me, Elyse, you have to learn how to tap into feminine energy. And finally, I took my head out of my rear and said, okay, I guess if everyone's saying the same thing, maybe I'll listen. And my results are showing to me there's a place where I can learn. There's a place where I can grow here. So let's talk about what these are. What is masculine versus feminine energy? We all have both. All right. We all have both. I thought feminine meant being female. It doesn't. That's not what we're talking about here. But so there's this law called the law of polarity or law of duality, which is there's 2 sides to everything, right? So there's masculine and feminine energy. We need both and we want to live in both as well, but it's about learning how to integrate both. So I'm going to share my screen again for you here. All right. So another way you can think about it is learning how, and this is really the quantum leap formula. Like if you want to learn, okay, how did she 10x in 6 weeks? What did that look like? It's about that blend between energy versus matter, being and doing, yin and yang, right? You call it dual forces. You'll hear that from people too. And so the problem, though, and the challenge is that most of us, especially women in business, we are completely in our masculine or our doing energy, but it's ineffective, right? And we don't know why it feels so heavy. So How do you know? I wanted to show you, we call this the symptoms of misalignment. And you can use this to check in with, okay, am I too far in masculine? Am I too far in feminine? If you are too far in your masculine energy, you are burnt out, you're depleted, you're overwhelmed, you're uninspired. You may feel busy, like you have no time, and you may feel like you're trying to push or force results. All right. Now, we can swing way far on the feminine energy side. And again, feminine is about being, it's about receiving, it's really beautiful. But we can swing all the way over to the other side, and that can look like not taking action. That can look like sitting around waiting for something to happen. It can look like this is injured feminine, entitlement, expecting what you want to come to you with no work involved. And so for most of us, again, we've been taught to be so far in our masculine. I find a lot of the women we serve in the community are coming from that space. And I'd even be curious to see in the chat, do you feel like you're more in your masculine or your feminine right now? Like, where are you falling in the spectrum? And so what we want to land here on is, how do you integrate both? Because quantum leaping, who here wants a quantum leap? You can raise your hand, you can type yes in the chat. It's not about working harder, it's about alignment. And this is what we're going to be teaching you how to do at the September event. It's about alignment. So it's about learning how to shift your identity, which is what we teach in first quadrant of quantum sales growth. It's about learning how to heal your relationship with money. And then it's about learning how to integrate these two forces, the masculine and the feminine, so that you're taking impactful action versus busy action. And what I found is when we do this, it actually becomes far easier to make seven figures than it does to make six. So sometimes women come into our community and we serve women, across all, I'd say, all spans of income goals and spectrum, but most of the women that we serve, I would say, are wanting to land somewhere between 6 and 7 figures as their initial goal, their initial income goal. And sometimes it's like, it's felt so hard to earn 6 figures that you're like, oh my gosh, am I just going to have to like 10x the work to get to 7? No, you're not. And so my own experience was, it was easier to make 7 than it was to make 6 when you learn how to do this. All right. When you learn how to integrate these energies. So let me show you again. I want to do a little more teaching here before I talk about the event. So when we learn how to blend the two, here's kind of what it looks like. I call it connected action versus disconnected action. And by the way, what I want to say with this too is, you will never quantum leap from masculine energy. You will never quantum leap from the masculine. It's too linear. I'm going to show you in a minute why that is. But if you've been working hard for a long time and they're like, for some reason, the needle isn't moving, then there's actually feminine we want to tap into for you, a lot of feminine we want to tap into. So I'm going to show you a little bit more in a minute about what that looks like in your business or in your sales. But when we're taking action, and action is masculine, right? Masculine is the doing. There's a difference between how, I know for me, when I used to work in my business, it was like check the box type of energy. So I don't know if any of you can relate to that. I'm guessing you can, because that's what most people do. But it's like, okay, I'm supposed to make X number of outreaches today. I'm supposed to send these emails. I'm supposed to maybe record this podcast. So let me do it and just check the box, and then I'll be done for the day. Right. Well, I used to do that all the time. And again, the needle didn't move. And I was like, why am I taking so much action and never getting anywhere? So what we teach and what we're going to teach you how to do at this event is how to first connect with and tap into the frequency of what it is that you want, your goal, your vision, your desires in your business or in your sales. And then from there, how do you take action from that place of it already being done? There's a process where you actually you go there in your mind, you connect with it, you feel it emotionally, you feel it energetically. And then it's kind of like the dream meets you halfway. What you want meets you halfway. So you're moving towards your goal. It's simultaneously moving towards you. but the action that you're taking in the process feels light. It feels inspired. It feels like a must versus a should. All right. So this list is always really helpful to check in with on, am I taking action out of a should or out of disconnection from my goal? That's not going to get you anywhere. All right. When we're taking connected action towards our goal, which is masculine, but we're doing it from a foundation of the feminine, that's when we move mountains. That's when we quantum leap. All right. There's this beautiful quote from Einstein, and he says, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you must get it. This is not philosophy. This is science. And I remember I played with that so much when I was quantum leaping the first time and getting unstuck. And it really is that beautiful blend of both the masculine and the feminine, where we want to learn how to match the frequency of the reality we want, which is all about feminine. Feminine is the frequency, the energy piece. And then simultaneously, we start taking action as if that was already done. And you must get that reality. I love it. I played with that. I leaned into that. And it is 100% true. Things will shift around you to match what you are thinking and who you are being. So, a little bit more about what this looks like. And again, we're going to be doing a deep dive into both of these energies at the event. But the way that I think about it in business, and the left-hand side here is masculine, the right-hand side is, you could say it's kind of more feminine. But if you have like scripts or templates in your business, those are good. Those are masculine energy. But I would say we want to use those as guardrails, not handcuffs. I remember having a very embarrassing moment earlier on in my sales career where I had spoken on a pretty big stage, and I generated a lot of people wanting a sales call afterwards. They wanted to call about coaching with me. And the company that I was with at the time had just rolled out a new script, and they were all about like, follow the script, don't deviate from the script. So I'm on the call with this guy, and I'm like following the script, and even parts of it just felt off to me, but I was like, I'm going to follow the script. I'm not going to deviate because that's what they're saying to do. And at the end, after I make the offer to him, he says, could you stop reading a script and just talk to me like I'm a real human? And I was like, not a beginner at this point. Like I'd been doing this a while. And I mean, obviously I didn't get the sale. I was, mortified. But so it's learning how to use things like scripts as I would say guardrails, but not handcuffs, still leveraging intuition on your calendar, like having the calendar, but having white space on your calendar. One of the beliefs I created is I make the most money when I'm spending time with my kids and my family. All right. And that belief challenged me at the beginning, but I've integrated that belief now. And now when I'm spending time with kids and my family, I'm making good money. Right. But it's all about your belief system. It's about having, your CRM, whatever you're using to keep track of your clients, but still leveraging intuition. So I'll be teaching you at the event, how do I use things like these systems that we need in business, but still use powerful feminine energy to quantum leap. All right. Because again, like I said, you will never quantum leap from the masculine. It's only from the feminine. It's about, time management, right? I don't actually believe we can manage time. We can only manage ourselves. But there's something that's really powerful, and we teach it within our community. And we'll talk about it at the event too. How we can best leverage our time as women is completely different from our male counterparts. You actually have 4 energy cycles you move throughout the month, and there's better business activities that are better suited to certain times of the month. Like there's certain times of the month you're better suited to do sales presentations or webinars or trainings. There's certain times of the month you're better suited to do planning work. And again, most of us were just not taught how to do that, and we're like, I'm working so hard all the time. Why am I feeling like I'm grinding and this is feeling heavy? But the men around me seem like they're fine every single day. You have not been taught how to align your business with your energy cycles. It makes a huge difference. And then masculine is about goals, right? Destination, which are beautiful. We want goals. I love goals. I love setting and achieving big goals. But when we forget that the point of the goal is actually who you become in the process and the journey, which is the feminine, we actually lose the whole point. Okay. So part of how this looks too is, and I'm going to teach this at the event, building out your daily systems, daily processes from the end goal, from your desired end outcome, not your current results. All right. So we're going to teach you how to do this. Again, we need both. And I find in my own life, the higher I elevate, the more structure and organization and systems I require to keep things going. That's the masculine energy. But it's not about control. It's not to control things. It's to create. All right. So let me see how, okay, I think we're okay on time. All right. So 3 things I want to talk about in terms of how to align these energies. And then we'll talk a little bit about the event. So the first is the feminine, leading with your vision and your desires. So there is do I have time for, yeah, we've got time for this story. This is a powerful story. So I'll share with you a story of a client in our community, and shout out to her if she's watching the replay of this, by the way. So there is a beautiful member of our community who several years ago was part of our signature program called the 10K Club. So it's our signature coaching program. We've got some of you in here today on this program. And a couple years ago, a woman named Rita, who lives in Norway, enrolled in the program. So this is Rita. And when you look at Rita, you see a woman who's like, she looks like she's got it all together, right? Successful, beautiful. She's goals. So what you don't see though, or know upfront, is that when we first started working together, I found out about Rita's son, Benjamin, who had an extremely rare genetic disorder called Hurler's syndrome. And the average life expectancy with this disease is age 7. So here's Benjamin. And, aside from being an entrepreneur, Rita had dedicated most of her life to advancing medicine and treatment for people with Hurler's syndrome. And I used to be able to share about her and her story and say that her son, Benjamin, was the oldest living in the world at age 27. And in March of 2022, he passed away. But I feel his energy every time I talk about him, and he is a beautiful soul. And I think a model for perseverance and tenacity and strength. So when Rita came into the 10K Club, and women, like I said, women have different financial goals in our community, but a lot of them in that program in particular want to start hitting 10K months and then beyond. But Rita came in and she was like, I don't want to just make 10K. Like, she'd actually been doing that for a while. She said, I don't know why, but I just feel like I'm supposed to make $120,000 and I want to do it in 90 days. So that's my goal. So Rita and I worked together, and she previously had been making about $10,000 a month, I think 10 to 15 a month, before she came into the community and into this material. But we worked on her business and her mindset. And in 90 days, she didn't make 120K, actually. She made $240,000. So I want you to think about right now, $240,000 comes in 90 days. How does that feel to you? How excited would you be? Right? Now she's kind of sitting around like, what am I going to do with all this money? Which is a really good situation to be in. But shortly thereafter, she gets a LinkedIn message from a man in India, and he's thousands of miles away from her. And he says, my 1-year-old son, Kushal, was just diagnosed with Hurler's syndrome, and I don't know what to do. This seems like a death sentence for him. I've been watching what you shared about Benjamin on LinkedIn. This is Kushal. He said, I've seen your post about Benjamin, and I'm hoping you can help. So Rita jumps into action mode. She gets him in touch with Benjamin's doctors, and the treatment is incredibly expensive. It's around $1 million for the therapies. Like, it is very, very pricey. And this family, like probably most families on the planet, didn't have that kind of money sitting around. But what's beautiful is that she didn't have a million sitting around, but she did have a lot because of what she had done, because she had led with her vision and her desires. And she had enough to help get him started with his first treatment. And she started a fundraiser and pulling in her connections. And I contributed, and our community contributed. And so, and then the medical community started contributing as well. And so to this day, Kashal is doing well. He is alive and well. She actually went and visited him this past Christmas and sent me a video with him in India. But I share all of that to say that the feminine is about leading with desire. It's about following the vision. It's about knowing that your desires are green lights, and to stop making yourself wrong for what it is that you want, and to allow that vision to expand so much bigger than you could imagine. It would have been very easy for Rita to say, who am I to want to make, $120,000 in 90 days, right? And I want you to even think about in your own life, when have you downplayed or diminished or questioned what you want? Right? Or said, oh, that's too much, or who am I to want that? A lot of times we pick up on this growing up, all of these limiting beliefs about what's possible for us, what we can have, what we can't have. And one of the things that I am most lit up about in this community and that we're going to be doing at the event is helping you unapologetically own the bigness of your vision. Because if she had said no to the vision, if she had not invested in herself, if she hadn't gotten in the room and come into our programs and gone to the events and said yes, right, to the biggest of her vision, she didn't know that several months later, there was going to be a family in India who needed her help. And think about if she didn't have that money sitting around. So you never know who or what is waiting on the other side of you saying yes to your vision. And that is a huge piece of what we're going to be doing, especially first day of the event, is helping you tap into that bigness of your vision, get past the fear of it, because I know you're holding on to some fears about it right now, probably. We're going to help you release that, help you become the match of the woman who has that vision. And then day 2 is about leaning into the masculine. So what structure, what systems, what processes do I need in place to be able to actually create this and to build this? Now, here's the key. It's not what you're doing right now. Let me make that very clear. The actions you're taking from the end result are different. And I'm going to speak more to that in a minute, but it's not about more of the same. It's about elegant. It's about streamlined. It's about efficient. Okay. So we're going to be thinking differently here. And then the integration, where women really thrive, is when we can lean into our feminine and let the masculine support. All right. So you're leading with the vision every day. You're connecting in the morning with, what is it that I desire? What is the bigness of my vision? What am I being called to open up to in terms of both who I am in the world and what I'm contributing, and then also what I'm willing to receive? The feminine is all about receiving. And we were actually talking about this. Some of you were on the 10K Club call yesterday where we talked about receiving and how if we're not open to receive, we block half the process, right? We're only going to get what we feel worthy to receive. All right. So this is so, so, so important. So let me pause my screen for a second. So again, just checking in with yourself on who, where am I maybe selling myself short here? Like, where am I dampening down my vision? Where am I telling myself I want too much? Where am I saying I'm not worthy? Where am I saying I can't do it? I can't have it. Again, this is all, the feminine is about the being, allowing, receiving. All right. And I know from the work that I get to do and my team gets to do with the women in our community, each and every one of you has a high calling on your life. And that's going to look different for every woman too. I want to be very clear about that. Right? For some women, your high calling may be you're going to build $1 billion organization and you're going to be on the cover of Inc. and Forbes and doing the thing, right? and you're going to have kids if you want, and you're going to do that life. Other women we work with, it's like, I want beautiful time freedom to be a mom, to be a partner. I want to have financial success in my sales or my business, but I want to go live on a farm. We've got a lot of women in our community who want to live on farms. It's been really fun to see. There's a lot of farms being started in She Sells World, which is fun. There's no right or wrong. I want to make this very clear. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. It's about tapping into that fullest expression of you and allowing that to flow through and trusting that. And that's the feminine. And then from there, we take aligned action steps to get there. But it's a different process than you're normally taking right now in terms of action. And it feels really fun. So I want to share with you, you got like a tiny preview of some of what we're going to be doing at the event, but I'll share with you, and then I want to open it up for questions. So earlier this year, so we teach this to our clients in our programs and our signature programs all the time. But earlier this year, I remember I was working out one morning and I texted one of my team members and I was like, we're going to do this. My team members get, I think I'm better about it now, but I used to send really early morning text because that was my inspiration time. And I was like, just don't look at your phone until you're ready to answer messages. But I had this inspiration to start an event series, to put together a 3-part event series here in Portland, Maine, which is where we live now, to cover each of those big 3. So mind over matter, money, and then masculine and feminine energy. And we did it. And we rolled out the first event in April. We just had our second in July. These are a couple of pictures from July. By the way, who was there in July? Because I know some of y'all were. It was so, so good to have you. And I think our events are phenomenal. They're absolutely phenomenal. It's been so much fun to put these on. And we just wanted to open it up where even if you're not in one of our signature coaching programs, you can come in and immerse yourself in this material and have us pour into you for 2 days and have us help you transform. And so we have our last live event of the year. It's coming up here in September. And it's all about the 3rd quadrant of quantum sales growth, which is how to integrate your feminine and masculine energy so that you can quantum leap. So it's September 25th and 26th. It is at a beautiful location. Our first time ever doing it at this location. It's the Canopy Hotel in downtown Portland on the waterfront. And it is going to be a 2-day deep dive workshop into how to integrate both your masculine and feminine so you can quantum leap. So day 1 is going to be all about how to match the frequency of what you want. All right. So that's going to be the energetics. We talked about the Albert Einstein quote, right? Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. That's what day 1 is. So we're going to help you remove the limitations, take off the shackles, the blinders, whatever is telling you that you cannot be, do, or have whatever it is that you want, and help you own that and help you receive that and help you tap into that. We have a beautiful special experience also planned for day 1, a surprise experience that's going to help you really get that at a cellular level, get that new identity, get that new self-concept at a cellular level. Because once we do that, it must manifest. So it's really, really special. And we're actually not going to share that until the event, but we've got a special experience to help everyone do that too. And then day 2 is about building out the systems and processes in your sales and your business that are going to support you in achieving your goals in less time. All right. So here, important point, less time. All right. I am a big fan of let's get you to where you want to be. Now, we do appreciate the process. We do appreciate the journey. That's part of it. But the universe likes speed. All right. The universe likes speed. And a lot of times we slow down the results we're looking for because we don't feel worthy of what we want. We haven't done the inner work, which is everything we're doing on day 1, or we're simply taking more of the same action we used to take. And like I said earlier, the actions that you are taking as the version of you with your goal accomplished are different from the actions that you're taking now. And it requires a higher level of thinking. So we're going to help you determine what those actions are and how to start taking them. I'm going to teach you how to reverse engineer your actions based on your goal, how to build out your daily success habits. You can call it daily SOP, whatever it is, based on your goal. But we're going to leverage and help you leverage a universal law called the law of least action, which is about helping you get where you want to go faster and fastest. And so this piece is all about how do we compress space and time? All right. So I want you to think about, and you're probably not yet thinking about your 2025 goal. Is anyone thinking about 2025 goals yet? Or are we like so far? Whatever it is, if you've thought about it, just have fun with this. Think about whatever it is that you think you're going to do in 2025, doing that before the end of the year. Okay. That's what I'm, Kelsey is digesting. That's what I'm talking about here. All right. So it's going to be really, really fun. And that's the vibe and the theme of what we're going to be doing together is helping you collapse that space and time, but having fun with what you're doing. And I want to also just say, like, who in here would love more spaciousness in time in your day where you feel like if I could cut down my work hours a little bit and have more time, maybe with kids or with family, whatever, that would be beautiful. Kelsey, you and I were messaging about this morning, right? Like it is so possible. And every day is a little different in my world. If I'm leading an event or we've got enrollment going on or something, like my working days may be a little longer, but I'm probably working like 3 to 4 hours most days and running a very successful company. So we're going to teach you. So I use things like this, the law of least action, right? What's the most direct path to where we want to go? And we're going to teach you how to do that as well at the event. So we have early bird tickets, and that's part of why we wanted to do this call now is we've got early bird tickets now through Sunday. So let me show you what those are. So if you want to come join us, and we would love to have you, you can save $1,000 off your ticket through Sunday. There's 2 levels of tickets. There's a regular ticket. That one is normally $2,997, but through Sunday, it's $1,997. And then we also have a VIP ticket, which is your admission, plus you get an hour-long private intensive with me. We'll schedule, it's not going to be at the event. We'll schedule it before or after, depending on your schedule. But that one is normally $4,997, and early bird, it's $3,997 right now through Sunday. And then we also just wanted to do a really fun fast action bonus. So you're here, you're on the call, or you're watching the replay later today. If you secure your ticket by midnight Eastern tonight, we are going to gift you my Master Money course. It's a $1,000 course. It's $9,997. It's called Align for Abundance. We're going to gift it to you for free. If you're an existing client, you already have access to this. So message the team if you're not sure where it is. I just want to let everyone know you've got this. But this is for those of you who are enrolling now, who are signing up today and securing your ticket today. We're going to gift you this, and you can dive in and be quantum leaping like that. So I think that's what I wanted to share about the event. I want to create some time and space for questions about the event. Kristen is saying, what time will the event end on day 2? Great question. And if you want to come off mute too, I can answer any specifics, but Kayla, when do we normally end? Is it 3 or 3:30 on day 2? It's one of those,
We
right?
typically end at 3. Yeah.
At 3. Kristen, where do you live? If it's not letting you unmute, that's okay. Or you can type it in the chat. What I was going to say is what we tell women is, and some women do leave day 2, like the afternoon of day 2, and that's totally fine. We try to end it so that you can still catch a flight that night. If you need to catch a flight and get out and get back home that night, if you can, I would say book your flight the next morning just so you can have time and space to integrate and kind of just relax into everything you just learned so you don't feel like you're rushing. But we have women leave afternoon of day 2, and it's not a big deal, and it's fine.
Okay.
So, oh, there you are. Are you off mute?
There. I think so.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Okay. I'm on my phone. I'm not familiar with this, so.
All good.
But that sounds good. Okay. I'm going to look at my schedule and see what I can work out.
Amazing. Where are you based out of?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, Atlanta. Yes. I used to live in Atlanta. Cool.
Oh, yeah. I'm north of the city.
Okay. I love it. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
And like Kayla said in the chat, there's an airport really close to where the
Okay.
hotel is. So it's pretty easy. We've done this a couple times now and people get in and out pretty easy and pretty fast. So yeah,
Perfect. Thank you.
absolutely. Yeah. We'd love to have you. What other questions? And I'd love to open this up for questions on the event. If you have questions on the material we talked about too, integrating that masculine and feminine, I'm happy to answer those. So let's just open it up for questions, conversation about it, and you can type in the chat or you can come off mute. Let's see here. What airport would you suggest arriving at? Yeah, Mary, great question. So there's two closest options. One would be Portland, which is PWM. I've done it enough times now that I know. And that's, oh my gosh, what is that, Kayla, to the event center? Like 20 minutes, the airport, or is it even that? I don't know. It's close.
I don't even think it's that. I think
Okay.
in an Uber, it takes like maybe 15, maybe.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. So super, super close. Or like what you said, Boston. Some people will fly into Boston and then it's like right under a 2-hour drive. It's about an hour 45 because sometimes you can just get more flights in and out of Boston. Obviously, it's a bigger airport. But you can do either. So yeah, good questions. Who else has a question? I would also open it up. For any members of our community who are here, not to like put you on the spot, but if you feel like you've learned some of how to integrate feminine energy and you want to share either in the chat or come off mute, and share like just your experience with that. I think it's really powerful for other women to witness and see what's possible, especially because so many of the women we serve, not everyone, but a lot of the women we serve come from male dominated backgrounds where it's like this stuff just isn't taught, it's just not. That was my background. And we love our men. For any men who are watching or listening to the replay, we love our men. Again, this is not about being a man or a woman, but this is about learning how to lean into how we're naturally wired. Oh, Kayla, can you please put the link in the chat to register? I totally forgot that before. That would be helpful. So Kayla's going to pop the link in the chat for the event. I see some hands raised. So Kelsey, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, if you're inviting to share a couple of experiences with integrating feminine and masculine, I have, like you mentioned, I come from a really male-dominated masculine energy field. I've been in financial services space, I've been in consulting, and now I'm in tech. So you can call all three of those as fairly grind-like energy. And I think one of the biggest things I would just share with kind of stepping more into feminine and unwiring some of those old beliefs that will be too weak, I won't get the results. What's been the most fun thing for me is that actually the feminine is allowing me to feel more rejuvenated, and I approach work with a sense of fun, which I haven't felt that way in probably like a decade of working. It's always just been do the list, get things done, grind it out, repeat. And with the feminine integration, it's actually a way to start having fun again and start to see like where you can start living a more expansive life, spending more time with your family, spending more time doing things you love. It's kind of just like taking ownership back to like, this fuels me. And it's been just such a beautiful experience to see it not only transform results in my business, like I've had more success in my business than I've ever had in my career. That's awesome. But more importantly, I feel great. Like, I think that's the feeling I want to just keep integrating is like, how fun has this been? And I just think that's been practicing feminine energy. That has been the shift for me. So that's just my experience so far.
It's so good. Can I share about your revenue that you like? Because yeah. So when she says I've grown my business a lot and my best financial results, I got to interview Kelsey about that last month at our feminine frequency event. Some of you were there, and I think you did what your first
350K, yeah, in 1 month. Crazy, yeah.
And it was by using this, and that's what's so powerful. That's the thing. It's like, and truly, if any of you have questions on this, you're like, how is this possible? So I remember I thought that too, but it was the exact same for me when I learned, and it's so real. When I learned how to do this and learned like, holy crap, you can actually make way more money when you're open to receive, when you're having fun, when you're in play, when you're in lightness. Like, are we taking action? Yes. That's part of it. But it's incredible what happens. Hold on. All of you are frozen on my end. Am I frozen? Are we okay?
No, we can see
Okay.
you.
You're good. And you can still hear me. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Corey, go ahead. Your hand's raised too.
First, I want to just also second what Kelsey just said. I think one of the biggest things that I've realized is feeling calm in not working. For so long, I always felt like I had to do something and then I should have been doing something else. And I was never present with my family, with my husband, with my daughter, because my mind was, well, I should be doing this and I should be doing that. And getting to that place of being calm and being able to pay attention in that present moment and not feeling guilty and feeling like, oh, I should still be doing X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So that's been one of the biggest shifts for me.
Yeah. It's such a rewiring. I completely get it because we're taught, and this tends to be more like, again, this is when I was stuck at the same financial level. This is how I thought. It's that you should always be doing, you should always be grinding. Like if you're not doing something, there's wrong. And I remember, this is no disrespect to some very well-known sales trainers out there, but I remember one person who said, white space on your calendar is the devil. And I believed that. And I bought into that. And it's a lot of conditioning around that, right? And what I now know to be true is anytime I'm taking an action and it's like a should, or it's out of obligation, or it's a check the box, it's not going to get me like, you might as well not do it. Seriously, it won't do anything. You'll feel like you're spinning your wheels or you'll go backwards. So it's about how do we blend these two energies? And feminine is also flow state. So sometimes that phrase resonates a little better, especially when I'm working with male clients. Feminine is the same as flow state, but it's that state when you're connected to the vision, you're tapped in, you feel limitless. You're not really trying to micromanage the process, right? You're like, I'm just so excited about what's coming in and I don't know how, I just know it's happening. And then you take the next aligned action, and that can be an intuitive nudge. It may or may not make sense based on how you see your world right now, but we see less than 1% of reality. We perceive less than 1% of reality with our physical senses. So it's a really, really powerful blend. But that's how you want to learn to take action, is get connected to the vision, feel it in your body. That's really important, learning how to feel it in your body. So we'll work with you at the event on how to do that as well, how to expand your energy field to be able to hold more. All right, to be able to hold, and that's more about receiving, like how much are you willing to receive, and how connected are you to the vision? And then from there, the actions unfold for you to be taking to get there. But it's fun and it's enjoyable and it's light. It may feel stretchy. It may feel uncomfortable. A lot of things I do in my days in my business right now, it's like, it's uncomfortable to the old version of Elyse, but it's not hustle. And it's beautiful because you do it and then you become comfortable with it and it becomes your norm. So this is so beautiful. I love that feedback. Any other questions on the event? Kayla put the link in the chat. So thank you so much for that, Kayla. If you're just listening and you can't see the chat, it's ElyseArcher.com/September live event 2024. So you can go there. Again, we've got early bird tickets on sale now through Sunday. But then we are doing a fast action bonus today where you grab your ticket today and we're going to give you our $997 Master Money course for free so you can dive in and start quantum leaping right away. Jess, when will next event be on these concepts? Good question. Not until next year. So this is our last of the event series of 2024. And our public facing live events will probably not resume until spring, summer of 2025. So now's the time. Come on, get in. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. And if you have any questions on the event, you can email Portland. Yeah, Portland in the fall. I know. It's going to be so, so good. Let me speak to that and then I'll share. So, okay, hold on. There's lots of things. There we go. Okay. Thank you, Kayla. So email Kayla. Her email's assist@ElyseArcher.com. She's amazing. She'll help you. If you have any questions on the event, shoot her an email. Jess, how many women are at the events? Great question. The first event we did in April, we had 12. Our last one, we had 30, right? I think it was 29 or 30. So that's, yeah, we're growing, which is really fun and really exciting. But yeah. And yes, Portland in the fall, we timed these strategically. That's part of why there's not going to be another event until spring, summer of 2025, because I love you all. And I don't want to invite you to come to Portland in January because no one's going to be excited about that. So we timed them when it's beautiful here. So Portland, Maine in the fall is a dream. It is an absolute dream. It's beautiful. Come check it off your bucket list. If you haven't been, get here. It's absolutely beautiful and it's right on the ocean. It's right on the waterfront. It's stunning. So, amazing. Any other questions? We good? We excited? Well, we would love to see, we'd love to see all of you there. We are going to pour into you. We will help you transform in many, many areas. You will leave a changed woman. One of the women at the last event came up to me and she was like, this has literally changed my life. And it is beautiful. So there's power in the room. There's power in getting yourself in the room. It shows yourself, your subconscious, that you're serious about your transformation. And then we take it from there and we'll help you with all the rest. So we love you. We'd love to have you there. And thank you if you were here live. It was so good to see you. If you're watching the replay, thank you too. And again, message the team, assist@ElyseArcher.com if you have questions, but otherwise grab your ticket. Come join us. We can't wait to see you. All right, everyone. Take care. Thanks for